And now, episode 4 of COVID Confidential.
Extra, extra! Mass killing in Frogtown! Extra, extra!
What on earth did he just say? Hey kid, toss up a paper.
Sure, Mr. Hakamaki. Oh, it sounds real bad.
Frogtown Inferno? Bodies mount up in the streets as buildings burn into the morning. City Hall accuses communist paramilitary groups. Police begin to round up suspects. Still no arrests? My god. This is larger than the killings and arson in Frogtown. Clearly this was being organized from higher up. No fringe groups I know of are this organized. Seems to me Mr. Mayor is being pretty quick to judge. Smells like City Hall is looking for a scapegoat. Otherwise they wouldn't have released the identity of the suspected perpetrator so early. No. This was coordinated to a degree, far beyond anything that some disorganized leftist groups could muster. The police were nowhere to be found, and they made no arrests during the night. Meanwhile, fires were breaking out left and right, and the streets were filling up with bullet hole-riddled bodies. No. Something is definitely up. I'd stake my name on Mayor Norris trying to squirm out of something. But I've got no proof beyond my gut. I'd like to know who's making Swiss cheese out of the citizenry. Henry Hakamaki, private investigator. What can I find for you?
Henry, it's Tony. I need to have a word with you. Like now. I don't want to talk about this on the line. Can you meet me at the pantry in about an hour?
I'll be there. Tony sounds spooked. He must know something that he can't tell anyone at the paper about. We go way back, and he knows I'm not afraid to stick my nose where it doesn't belong to see if I can determine the cause of a problem. I wish I had my fedora, but I never got it back after the crows stole it. Just one more thing I have to take care of.
Henry, over here!
What's going on, Tony? You look like you've seen a ghost. I've never seen you like this before.
Henry, I saw it all. I don't mean I saw the aftermath like the press and the cops. I mean I was there while it went down. There were no communists, Henry. This is bad.
Hey, take a breath. I've got your back. Tell me what you saw. I need to know. Then I'll follow up on this myself. And you can take a step back and get out of the picture for a while.
Well, I was going around trying to figure out more about just how extensively C had been spreading. It was just after 1 a.m. when some black cars came rolling in. Sharply dressed men got out of the vehicles and just started blowing away anyone who looked like they were on the drugs. They also had sheets of paper they were checking off and were targeting specific buildings to light up. I'm telling you, this was coming from high up. It was far too coordinated and slick to have been anything besides a massive job.
Good God. And with the cops dragging their heels for at least an hour? Do you think perhaps it had been planned so that the cops were diverted elsewhere?
Undoubtedly. And here's something else you should know. The buildings that were being torched were all places that I've been observing C being distributed from recently. To have this kind of reaction against all these buildings specifically, it would have taken a massive amount of reconnaissance, which would have taken the kind of resources that only the top players would have access to.
Sounds like my gut was right. City Hall getting worked up over the spread of C is an understatement. But I couldn't have imagined this kind of overreaction. I need to go dig up some more information on this. We'll talk soon, Tony. Keep your head low for a while. I'll let you know what I find. Go home. Keep to yourself for a bit. Everything will be fine. I'll make sure of it. I need to get over to Frogtown. I need to see this for myself. seeing the carnage, watching bulls getting in their quality stick time with citizens. The general decay reminded me of why I dropped out of the police academy on the eve of my graduation ceremony all those years ago. I had just finished up the final set of courses we had to go through in the academy, and was slated to matriculate into the force, but was facing a moral dilemma. Our training was instilling the virtue of using brutality as a means to an end, and the killing of civilians is an unfortunate but necessary side effect to cleaning up the streets. This violence just wasn't me. I went into the academy because I wanted to piece together the puzzles, not to blow away people in the street because the effect justified the action. My final decision to leave the academy after training and commit to becoming a private detective was driven by a meeting with the academy's chaplain.
Come on in.
Father McAvoy, it's nice to see you again.
Hello, Henry. Yes, likewise. Is everything all right? You seem tense.
Father McAvoy was a good man, and a trusted confidant to those in the academy. While ostensibly representing the Los Angeles Police Department, he always acted in the members of the academy's best interests, and gave them the advice they needed to choose their own path when, like me, they were unsatisfied with how everything was working out, even if that was to abandon the academy entirely. You've always had a knack for telling when people were facing a moral quandary.
Part of my job. Tell me, what can I help you with?
Father, I don't know if I can go through with this. Ever since we started learning about how to properly apply chokeholds, to conduct predictive policing, reasonable suspicion and use of force doctrine, I felt like this just isn't for me. If I was able to ensure that I would simply be investigating documents, looking through crime scenes and uncovering corruption, I'd have no issue with joining the force. But as things stand, my job could very well cause me to become a killer, and I absolutely am opposed to the idea of being forced to kill.
I understand entirely. You see yourself as a helper, not a killer, right? From the moment we met when you first came to see me 4 or 5 months ago, you struck me as someone who wanted to be a helper. You're right. I can't see you on a typical beat. You're far too much of a pacifist to be following the guidelines your superiors will be imposing on you.
I feel like I could have been a good forensic analyst or something of the like, but I'm not sure. I'd have to go back to school to do that.
I can see that, but I can't see you being cooped up in the forensics lab all the time. You always told me how much you liked getting out there to see what was going on in the city. There is another option which could appeal to you. Have you ever considered going off on your own to be a private detective? You'd still be able to try to solve cases, but would be able to write your own rules and only do what you're morally comfortable with. Plus, you'd always be able to call on the boys in blue anytime you did become a bit uncomfortable with how things were unfolding.
No, I hadn't thought about that. It does sound like something that would suit me.
Here, wait 1 second. I've got some papers here about entry into the field of private investigating. Believe it or not, you're far from the first person I've pushed in this direction. Here we are. Take these. You might get some use out of them. And here, I've got a copy of a pretty in-depth article about a private detective that nearly single-handedly collected all of the information necessary to take down a drug kingpin and then turned the information over to the FBI so that he could be put away. Perhaps this could be a bit of an inspiration to you.
Thanks, Father. You've given me so much to think about, and I already feel like I know what I need to do. I'll talk to you again soon.
Take care, Henry. I know you'll make the right choice for you, and you'll do great in whatever choice you make.
I already knew by the end of the conversation with him that I would become a private detective. I studied that article about the investigator that took down the kingpin until I knew that case by heart, and I knew that if I had the opportunity to work on a case like that, I could make my mark on society. Hard to believe that this was already a few years ago, but I haven't regretted committing to becoming a private detective for even a moment since then. All I can see, though, is destruction and chaos. I can't even think where to start sorting through this to figure out what's going on. It will take a massive break for this to unravel itself.